Hey guys, it's your humble host, Akila, if you prefer. So I'm back with yet another video this evening. You guys must really love me at this point, or really hate me. I don't know. Sorry, poor joke. But an article has been brought to my attention. This is something I found thanks to Sargon of Akkad's video. And because of what was discussed tonight on the citrus quest with me and Moka, I wanted to show you something. Because there is very particular wording in here. We're going to go through the article. I'm going to give my thoughts, and hopefully you guys see what I'm talking about. I don't know if all of you do, all of you don't. I don't know. Again, free will from your choice, but there is an agenda nonetheless, and we've seen a push, as I said, on the Citrus Quest question stream tonight. It's coming from all sides. So this is from usatoday.com. The young are regarded as the most tolerant generation. Regarded. Remember that. That's why results of this LGBTQ survey are quote-unquote alarming. Let's read down. Young people are growing less tolerant of LGBTQ individuals, a jarring turn for a generation traditionally, listen to this now, traditionally considered embracing and open, a survey released Monday shows. So they were under the impression that today's youth has become more tolerant or is more accepting. Again, I'm all for teaching people you have the freedom of choice, freedom of will to live your life how you see fit. But again, with what's been going on with our schools, especially with our young boys, emasculation, toxic masculinity, that being thrown around, men being demonized. You see the drag culture luring little boys in. It all adds up, and girls are being targeted too. I mean, you have transitional surgery talked about in kindergarten classrooms now, and parents are waking up. People of the younger generations are waking up to it, and frankly, people have had enough. It's not hatred, it's not homophobia or transphobia to simply disagree with that lifestyle, with those particular set of beliefs. Let's continue reading. The number of Americans 18 to 34 who are comfortable interacting with LGBTQ people slipped 53% in 2017 to 45% in 2018. The only age group to show a decline, according to the annual Accelerating Acceptance report, they keep numbers on this shit, and that is down from 63% in 2016. Well, I wonder why, when there's such a push and a shove for every character, especially in the media, like comic books, movies, TV shows, video games. Everywhere there's a push for LGBTQ representation, trans people representation. Oh, these characters must be gay, or you're transphobic, or something of that nature. Oh, well, you're not going to respect my pronouns, then you're transphobic. So people are getting tired. Again, as I've said on my channel, there are people who are ex-LGBT, meaning they were part of the group, they have disassociated themselves, who just want to be left alone. They want to live their lives, they want nothing to do with this clown show. But then you have many factions of the LGBT who, if you don't think like them, you're demonized, you're blasted, they try to deplatform you, you were called all sorts of nasty names. People are getting quite fed up with it. And now you have particular factions trying to prey on our children. They've invaded our school systems. Again, as we discussed tonight on the Citrus Stream questions with me and Moka, I'm for, when it comes to children being exposed to certain things within a healthy realm, a healthy set of boundaries when they're good and ready, but to indoctrinate them, to brainwash them, no. Leave our kids alone. Let's continue. Driving the delusion of acceptance are young women whose overall comfort levels plunged from 64% in 2017 to 52% in 2018, says the survey conducted by the Harris poll on behalf of LGBTQ advocacy group GLAAD. Well, I wonder why, and I can tell you exactly why a lot of women are getting uncomfortable is because of the transgender agenda. To where you have men being allowed in women's spaces. They're allowed in women's bathrooms, even when, especially when they don't get the transitional surgery, like all that snip down there. You have like there was an article, I believe, from 2016 to 2017 because of the law that Seattle, Washington passed. You had a man, a straight man, go in there and start undressing, and the cops couldn't do jack diddly crap because of the law of Seattle. Technically, he wasn't breaking the law. Yeah, no, women are getting fed up too. Oh, and let me also touch upon the men in women's sports. That's very much becoming a thing, and at this point, women's sports has been destroyed again because you have men identifying as women entering women's sports and taking trophies from women. So yeah, no, that women are getting quite fed up with this garbage too. Again, this is I have nothing against my LGBT viewers, and a lot of you have just associated with this garbage. This has nothing to do with you. This is not toward you. Um, let's continue on. We count. Oh, look at this. I want you guys to really pay attention to this. We count on the narrative that young people are more progressive and tolerant. John Garzema, CEO of the Harris Poll, told USA Today, these numbers are very alarming and a signal a looming a social crisis and discrimination. So let's read the findings, and then I'm going to touch upon that because that does tie into what I talked about on the Citrus Quest questions tonight. Among the findings, 36% of young people said they were uncomfortable learning a family member was LGBTQ, compared with 29% in 2017. 34% were uncomfortable learning their doctor was LGBTQ versus 20% a year earlier. 39% uncomfortable learning their child had a school lesson on LGBTQ history versus 30% in 2017. So, let me touch upon that narration shit. Or, yeah, narrative. As we discussed, because the older generations have told a lot of these people our beliefs are not changing. Here's how we grew up, here's what we believe, here's why. So a lot of factions of the LGBTQ started to prey upon the children, pushing their curriculum, their wanted agenda, their curriculum on children as young as kindergartners, children who don't even understand what certain body parts are for, let alone what sexuality is. I mean, again, let me bring up the gender unicorn that is now used in school curriculum in Washington State, where the gender unicorn teaches the kids, oh, gender is assigned at birth. The doctor picks your gender for you. Oh, well, gender is a social construct. You know, that bullshit exposes them to surgeries of women having their breasts lopped off because they try to be a guy, or men having their penis snipped off because they feel like they're a woman. Again, freedom of choice, freedom of will, but this is a growing frustration, and there's going to be a time and a place. Moka disagrees with me. A lot of people do. That's understandable. But other people, there's a lot of other people that can see what I'm saying and know what I'm talking about. There is going to be a line in the sand. I mentioned this a little bit ago, a few weeks back, possibly a month or so, where it's going to be drawn in the sand, and people are going to say, enough. I talked about it on stream tonight. I keep bringing it up to where you have factions of the LGBT embracing pedophilia, zoophilia, bestiality, hell, go as far as necrophilia. I mean, if you guys follow Twitter, you will see multiple accounts tweet out, hey, alert, these guys aren't part of the LGBT. Hey, alert, these guys are trying to lump in with us. Go, no. So again, and as I also brought up, on the Citrus Quest tonight is there was a photo being floated around by Paul Joseph Watson on how there was a parade, I forget what state it was, here in the US, where the sign said against homophobia, pedophobia, and Islamophobia. When I first saw that photo, I thought it was doctored and photoshopped to like spread outrage and hysteria and all that wonderful bullshit. But again, and I need to find the original video because the first channel I saw this on was someone by the name of FNGR for no good reason, is that photo is very much real. You do have factions of the LGBT embracing non-blah, Hearth Progress, other groups. This has become the slippery slope. Let's continue reading. There's a little bit more. Young people's discomfort rises with LGBTQ. A percentage of non-LGBTQ population by age bracket uncomfortable with learning a family member. Oh, so this is like the percentages, shows like a drop. Tolerance takes a hit. The negative shift for the young is surprising. No. It is said that the minority is very much vocal, and that's why it feels like they're like all over the place, or they overshadow everything because they're the loudest. And usually, I'm going to point this out again, when you usually have screeching people, they're a distraction. It means you need to go dig elsewhere when you have so many people start to get like really screamy about stuff that doesn't even make sense. So GLAAD president and CEO, when GLAAD delved into the numbers, the group found that the younger generation was coming into contact with more LGBTQ people, particularly individuals who are, again, here's the gender politics crap, non-binary and don't identify simply as lesbian or gay, because they have all these different sexual orientations now, which don't even make sense. This newsness they are experiencing could be leading to this erosion. It's not what they're experiencing. Out of the mouth of babes comes the truth. So you even have little children who know going, something's not right about this. And again, parents are waking up, other people are waking up. Again, it's fine how you choose to live your life. You have freedom of will, freedom of choice. But again, to those people, this video is not towards you. This video is not directed at you. I'm talking about the many factions of the LGBTQ who want everybody to accept their way of thinking, and only their way of thinking is logical according to them, when in reality it's not. Let's continue. Our job is to educate about non-conformity. She said, yeah, no, that's you guys. And we talked about, again, on the Citrus Quest, how part of the gender politics agenda, transgender agenda, is to blur the lines between the sexes. That's why you see the idea, especially feminism likes to repeat this shit too, minus the TERFs. Which is trans exclusionary radical feminist, if you guys don't know what a TERF is. But where, well, gender is a social construct, it doesn't matter how you express yourself, blah, 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 blah. So to a point, that's true, but what they're trying to push is garbage. What else that they do? Oh, well, masculinity is bad, it's toxic. If you don't date trans people, that's discriminatory. I mean, they've gone after each other with telling women who are attracted to other women, oh, well, if you don't date trans women, you're a transphobic. So they pretty much eat their own at this point, and the rest of us are just like, no. Let's continue on. Toxic culture 50 years after Stonewall. Toxic culture. The survey results come during prior 2019, which we're going to talk about that as well, on the eve of the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots, which sparked the LGBTQ rights movement. They also land at a dark hour politically and culturally for the LGBTQ community, and amid a rise in inflammatory rhetoric and dozens of policy setbacks. Oh, you mean, the ones that actually put people in danger, and when certain ones were put in place, there was actually more incidents of men identifying as women committing crime, or, for example, a inmate who identified as a woman and then started having sex with all the female inmates. Or let's talk about the other one to where the guy went into the women's bathroom dressed as a girl and he started taking pictures, sticking a camera underneath the stalls. Let's not bring up how a pedophile was just outed in the drag community as well, because the drag community is a part of the LGBTQ. I do know that they have tensions with the trans community, especially with men who identify as women because they get lumped in with them. And I'm going to bite my tongue there. You guys know where I was going with that. No offense. But so, and then also with the prides, because I touched upon this too, is the article. There's an article I tweeted out, and I believe I touched upon this in my video in regards to the rainbow wedding and the Arthur show, to where you have people who think it's okay to expose children to kinks during the Pride Parade, and specifically said that, well, children will only see it as fun or child's play because they don't understand what it is. Like, I'll post a link to that article in the description as well, because they're now doing this. They're getting more bold with their efforts. The fact that they want children to see it and think of it as fun or child's play because they don't understand what it is. Let that sink in. Do you understand what they're doing? As I said in multiple videos, I may sound like a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. Look around. There's more and more young boys coming out as drag kids. There's more and more photos coming out. You have Desmond the Amazing, who was seen 3 o'clock at a gay bar stripping for gay men. You had gay men who walked out and went, nope, done. You have another drag kid, I believe his name's Queen Latisha, seen photographed with a naked drag queen. There's another photo going around with another drag kid. I don't know who his name is, but he's seen with another naked man, and the guy has a unicorn horn, and his genitals are covered in sparkles. So this is alarming. People need to wake up. It is one thing to live your life how you choose and want to be left alone, and you decide what is best for you, what is right for you. But when you have people preying upon our children, they want to expose them to indoctrinate them. As you heard in this article, the narrative that the younger generations are more accepting and tolerant. As I have brought up before, notice how feminism has engulfed the BLM and LGBT and Islam here in America. Also notice how they toss around the word toxic masculinity. There is a strong effort right now to emasculate our young men. They're being left behind in school. Girls are being propped up. And also, I'll go as far as to bring something out of the UK as well, is now it's against the law, because they did ban this, to have a commercial where you show a girl as a ballerina and a boy as a mathematician. That is banned. That cannot be shown on TV. But you can show a boy being a ballerina and a girl being a mathematician. Can you see the problem? It's not just here in America. It's in the UK. It's in the other parts of the world. I've been telling you guys for a while that this is on the rise. Other people who are bigger than me, I'm a nobody on here, and you guys know that. But there is a strong effort. I mean, you hear feminists talk about how, it's women's turn to be in control. Men have had the power long enough. In order for them to do that, they're going out of their way to tear down what a real woman looks like, what a real man looks like. There is an effort. I'm more than likely going to lose subscribers over this. And of course, this video is more than likely going to be demonetized. I'm going to get more and more vocal as I see this stuff coming out more and more. And as you have noticed, like with the stuff with the NFIB, Pastor Stephen Anderson, I will call it that stuff too, because that stuff is just as wrong. That's the other extreme. And that is also garbage. But I'm not going to look away from this. I'm going to be as respectful as I can about this stuff when I talk about it. And there's like a certain way I do present this stuff. Because I don't want to alienate anybody. I don't want to make anyone feel like they're hated because they choose to live a certain way. But at the same time, I'm not going to hide what I believe in and how I feel about stuff. Um, so, don't know why I'm getting emotional, but this is so alarming to see. This is just so horrifying. Again, you have ex-members of the LGBTQ who are leaving in droves because they're seeing where this ship is headed. My recommendation, if you look into what this movement as a whole is doing, get off the freaking ship because you are going to drown with it. I brought up in the Citrus Quest tonight as well of a custody case that I'm helping out with. Like, I've been covering it for the most part and covering up the new court docs that have come out. It's still ongoing. The evaluation is still going. Hashtag Save James. And if you guys don't know what's going on with that, that has to do with a mom who's out of her mind trying to turn one of her twin boys into a girl for whatever reason when there's clear, strong evidence that he does not want to be a girl, that he very much wants to be a boy. She has gone as far as trying to keep the father, Jeff Younger, from cutting the boys' hair. She put something called like biotonic or something. It's to encourage hair growth or whatnot, stimulates hair growth. And so that's just one example. There was something, I believe, in Mexico, how you had two women, same-sex couple, who tried to turn their son into a boy, and they cut off his genitals and later beheaded him and killed him because he got in the way of their love life and because he reminded one of them of their father. So, yeah, this isn't funny. And I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to repeat it. Again, free will, freedom to choose. A lot of people laughed at the Christians, laughed at a lot of churches coming up and saying, if you legalize gay marriage, again, you should be free to pursue life, love, and happiness. That is your right. But when a lot of Christians came out and said, oh, hey, when you guys make this legal, you're going to have pedophilia attached, you're going to have bestiality attached, you're going to have all these other stuff attached. Everybody laughed at them, mocked them, and guess what's happening now? It's not funny. And as I said, I don't know how many times I have to repeat it on here. And I do come from a Christian background. For those of you who do not know, I still believe in God, believe in the Bible. I just stay the hell away from the church. And I don't pretend to be an example for anything Christian related. So, but I will stick by my guns. That is something I will do. But I'll let you guys finish the article. But you guys do hopefully see what I am saying. It is one thing to let a kid explore within healthy boundaries. And as I said before on this channel, that you cannot force your kids to believe a certain way, choose to live a certain way. I mean, yeah, they're under their parents' household and authority. But like when they get older, they are going to start questioning stuff. Even at a young age, they start questions of, hey, what is this? What does this mean? Why do we do this? So that is important. But at the same time, that's the parents' job, and parents need to know how to do that properly, because that is a big, big problem. There's either parents who go way too far and are way too lax, or you have a lot of parents who get stupid and try to shelter their kids from like everything that goes against the parents' narrative or beliefs. And I think that in itself is harmful to the child, because they will be exposed to stuff and you just can't like avert their eyes because the stuff is now getting everywhere. So anyway, that's enough ranting from me, but it's coming. It really is. I don't know what else to say. Again, everyone is welcome on my channel. I don't deter anybody except for Pedos obviously aren't allowed around here. Or doxers. You guys know who I keep off my channel at this point, what I'm against in regards to those unsavory types. But I'm not your enemy. Because I talk about stuff, I doesn't mean I hate those who choose to live differently, those who feel they have a different identity. I don't hate you people. I really don't. But again, this is becoming more and more on the rise, and I am going to get more vocal about it the more I see it. I'm going to try to be as respectful as I can, as I said, but there's a reason why stuff is happening as it is. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys to it, and please look up the links in the description below. You guys have a nice night.